This is going to be good. Legends territory is back. Braun and Kratz, at a six-time All-Star closer, 2007 World Series champ with the Boston Red Sox. Also just a playoff monster. 17 of his 18 playoff appearances. No runs allowed. Jonathan Papelbon joining us right now on Legends territory, coming off a big workout. How you doing, Pap?
Hey, yeah, you forgot a couple stats there, but it's all right. I'll remind you. Phillies all-time saves leader, Red Sox all-time saves leader, two-time Relive player of the year. So I just, just so we get it right. You know what I mean?
Anything we should add, Kratz?
Yeah, we can add that he was late to this interview too, so that everybody knows the real Pap is here, and he's probably not going to blink. Like this is like he's not blinking. This is not going to be a post-game interview where we get like 6 words that don't even make a sentence out of it. This is going to be a legit Pat Burrell, Papelbon interview here.
You know it, baby.
All right. So, how's life? First of all, like, what are you doing now, and what do you want to do?
Man, life is good, man. Retired, hated baseball. Did absolutely nothing. Thought that was going to be cool. Went snowboarding, dislocated my shoulder, decided to go back again, dislocated the other shoulder, went through hell, but it's all good. I'm back in the gym now, feeling good. Got a company now with my brother that I'm running and doing some stuff with Nesson, which I actually enjoy. It's something I told myself I would never do because I fucking hated the media when I was playing. But I realized that, baseball was awesome to me, and I still love the shit out of baseball, and I couldn't deny that. So got back in it.
How much did you miss baseball, or how much did you miss like the competitive aspect of things?
That's a great question, Kratz. The grind, I miss zero of the grind, although I do like the competitiveness. I like to challenge, myself. I mean, shit, Kratz, me and you, we were always in the gym, trying to come up with like some kind of challenge or something stupid every day. That never leaves you, whether you're in business or baseball. But for me, the one thing that I miss would probably be, shower naked with guys would probably be the first one. Playing cards in the plane, and probably, just the steak dinners at night, with the boys. I don't Kratz, do they even do this anymore? Do they, the bird lands and like, hey, your guys are coming with me, let's go eat.
They don't even get the bags. They still do it. The difference is everybody sits at the meals like this. And you're like, hey, bro, this is why I never got any of your money, because I could see you going through clubhouses now and taking guys' phones and snapping them in half and being like, hey, we're going to hang out. But then the next day, there'd be a brand new iPhone 15 titanium in their locker. So
no question. And see, that was the same thing that happened with me and Bryce, man. Like, when I went there, it was like, the game started changing a little bit, and guys just weren't accountable like I was used to, and we had a conversation, about, hey, everybody, the team meeting, hey, look, we're going to start fucking running balls out and hustling, and we're a game out of the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. Well, the next day very next day, we get into that situation. And so I was like, what? We just talked about this yesterday. So the game started to change on me, and, not to say that I didn't like it. I just don't know if I was accustomed to the new way, And so I was, me, Kratz. I didn't show up to just show up, man. I showed up. I wanted to fucking kick somebody's ass, and I wanted 25 guys behind me. Because me as a closer, put it this way, I was nothing without the guys in front of me. Without my lineup or the pitchers that came before me. So it's just kind of the way my approach was, and it is what it is.
You feel like you got a bad rap for that? You feel like you got a bad rap for the Harper instance? Like, you just brought up something that, how many people knew that you guys had actually talked about that?
Yeah, well, I think I've said it before, actually it was Jason Worth that led the meeting. But, for me, yeah, man, look, I'm going to tell you right now, when I was 23, 25, I got my ass kicked way more than that. I'm just going to tell you, borderline raped, I would say. And it was it was something that I cherished, actually. I mean, I remember looking at Veritech on a training room table in Oakland one day, and I was like, "What, motherfucker? You know what?" Like, we just started getting into it, and he was like, "You're too cocky." I was like, "Well, I don't care. I don't give a shit, you know." And man, he put me in a headlock, and I didn't think I was going to be able to play that night. And it was just, I mean, that's boys will be boys. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think that kind of changed as I was playing.
Yeah, but who changed? Who changed? Because you just said, let's put it this way. If you're 24, what did you say? You're 23, 24?
Yeah.
When this happened, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Bryce was probably 23, 24 when you choked him out?
Yeah.
So who was cockier, you or Bryce?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably him at the time. But, for me, I look at him now, and man, we still, when I see him, I give him a big hug. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, I got into fights with Timlin, Wakefield, but Kratz, this shit happens, but at the end of the day, it can either bring you together or tear you apart. And I think at that time, it tore us apart as a team, and I think I should have probably waited until we got into the clubhouse. But then again, it probably would have gotten way worse than what it did, when teammates broke it up. But, afterwards, we had another team meeting. Of course, Kratz, I called a team meeting. And I'm like, hey, get the president down here, get the GM and the head coach. And so I start this meeting, and I'm like, hey, first off, I want to apologize on my behalf for doing that shit in front of the cameras. Should have handled it behind the scenes. But guys, we just talked about this. We're trying to make a playoff. I don't understand how we all have to be on the same page. And that's all I'm going to say. And if anybody else has anything to say, please speak up now or forever hold your peace. Nobody said a fucking thing. It was dead silence. Matt Williams, who knew he was going to get fired, said, "No, yeah, guys, we got to be a team here. We can't fight with each other. Okay, guys, let's go get them tomorrow." I was like, what the fuck is going on here, man? And it was just like, I don't know. After that, I was just done. You know what I mean? I was like, this is all changed. But, God works in mysterious ways, man. And I am here where I am now. And I'm enjoying life more than I ever thought I would, to be totally honest with you. And you look at Bryce now, man, Bryce has become a complete team leader. And like I said, every time I see him, I wish him nothing but the best. And just like me and Tech, man. Me and Tech are blood brothers. Man, you're around each other more than your family, dude. And brothers will be brothers.
If that instance hadn't happened, or like you hadn't started seeing those changes, I think some of those changes, you voiced some of those your disagreements when we were in Philly, kind of that fire of, well, I'm this fiery, and maybe I'm not the leader because I'm the closer, but why isn't everybody this fiery? Like you would always say, like, I'm gonna live my life at 100%, whether it's in the 9th inning or it's getting ready for, a day game in July. I'm gonna live my life in that route. Do you feel like if you had been able to acclimate to the new game, how much longer would you have played?
No question, Kratz. I think that if I was able to, I could have played at least another 3 or 4 more years. Now, would I have been, the same old, Cinco Ocho of old? No. But, I could have, like they said, hanging around, I could have hung around. But for me, Kratz, you know me, dude. I wasn't going to just play this game just to hang around, man. I wanted to go there every day and kick some ass. And, for me, there was only one way, man. There's, Red Bulls and Adderall and whatever coffee it took. I was getting jacked up every night, man, to go kick somebody's ass. And, I started to see when I got to the Phillies at first, Ruben Amaro was like, yeah, man, we're going to come here. We're going to win 2 more championships. And I'm looking at them like the Utleys and the Jimmy Rollins. I'm like, man, dude, on TV, these guys look like grinders. And then when I get there, man, it's like, shit, Utley's only playing 40 games. He's hurt. And Jimmy's getting into it with Ryne Sandberg, and Sandberg wants him to show up at fucking noon, and he shows up 5 minutes before the stretch. He's done it for 15 years, and you're fucking that. And it just went to, I don't know, man. Sandberg was the worst manager ever, but it just shit hit the fan real quick, man. And Ruben Navarro got the keys to a Porsche and went out and wrecked it, in my opinion. And Kratzy, I mean, you caught these guys. You caught all of us, bro. Cliff Lee, Hamels, Halliday. I mean, now Halliday was back in and had his problems and issues, but bro, how did we not win? And that's what frustrated me so much is I felt like that energy wasn't there like it used to be.
Yeah, but you weren't there in 11 and 9 and 10 when those guys had that energy. I think they played at more like a business level in the sense that it wasn't the same grind, especially like when you got there in 12. Dude, we had just won 100 whatever games in 11.
I know.
And you came in because they got rid of Mad Dog, and Mad Dog got hurt and ended up getting hurt that year. You came in and you had that fire that I think the team needed. I don't know that it was necessarily needed at the closer role because it's different. Like, it's different. Like, you were around J-Dub. Jason Worth was kind of that – he was that fiery guy that had left in 10, and you come in there. But did you have a successful run in Philly? Like, to me, you had 2 All-Star games as a Philly. Yeah. And you're talking about, like, oh, I wouldn't have been at this level. You were an All-Star in 15. Like, I think your velocity started to go down, but it showed, and that was one of the things that really impressed me was everybody thinks of you as just this crazy, beamed out, wild interview kind of guy. But, like, you knew what you were doing, and you were so locked in. During that 4 years, was your run successful in Philly?
My run was, yes. I feel like it was. And I say Ruben Amaro screwed it all up, but at the same time, we did have a lot of injuries. Ryan Howard's Achilles, he was never able to come back from that. And anytime you take the big piece out, man, shit. You have no protection in your lineup, and things started to fall apart. I was very surprised though that the years that I did make the All-Star team, I was only member from the team of the Phillies. But what really surprised me was, and there's probably pictures out of it now, but I think I converted like 28 saves in a row one year. Shit, Kratz, I don't remember what year it was, but and then I blew one. The Phillies booed me off of the field, and so I grabbed my nuts at them, like fuck you guys. Joe West comes around, throws me out. I'm like, Joe, what are you doing, man? You can't throw me out. I was, adjusting my cup. He's like, no, you weren't. I was like, fuck you, Joe West. He was after me my whole career, but I don't know, man. It all started with.
But as somebody that converted 28 saves, you're on the top of your game, and then they boo you. Does that mean you're a little soft because they booed you? Like, oh, come on, guys.
I was soft, I was salty, and I was pissed. And but I mean, it was what it was, and I think at the end of the day, the people in Philly, they may or may not appreciate when I came, and I was like, hey, like, I didn't come here for this bullshit. I came here to win, and we're in last place every year, and I don't think they like that. But man, Christ, I speak my mind, and whether you like it or not, so whatever.
No doubt. And I live outside of Philly now, and everybody, it's like the questions I get asked are, what was it like to catch that rotation that you just said, and what was Papelbon like? And I said, this dude got a bad rep in this city, and yet had we been winning during that time, had we won in 12 and 13 when you and I played together, you would have loved Papelbon more than you've ever loved any Brad Lidge or Ryan Madsen. So it's one of those things where people are like, oh, okay, I get that. But I want to take you to 2011. I want to take you to 2011 when Robert Andino absolutely got a rocket off of you. And just leading up to all of that stuff.
All right, so what's funny is Tito was trying to get a contract extension, and so Theo was like, "Nah, we're not going to extend you," and he was like, "Well, what the fuck is going on?" But anyway, he was like kind of on the way out, and we in Boston somehow just hit this just absolute brick wall. I think Pedroia was playing with a broken thumb, or yeah. Anyway, and we get to like September, and it's like, fuck, we're about to lose this thing. And sure enough, we did. Um, but it was one of those things where, I look at now, and I told Ben McDonald this when they came to Fenway. I was like, the Orioles made their come up. You know how they made their come up in 2011 when I let them fucking win? And he's like, yeah, Robert Andino. But I still believe to this day that ball should have gotten caught. Carl Crawford took a bad route. But anyway, it's a part of the game. And what's funny is I was good friends with Adam Jones, and Adam Jones was like, "Man, I think you're gonna freaking lose it." And he was like, "Man, you took that pretty well." And I was like, "Man, you got to take the good with the bad." And the worst part about it, Kratz, was after the game was over. Man, I had to sit there, I think, for like an hour and just answer questions. And obviously, the Boston media was pretty relentless on me, but it changed my perspective on baseball for sure. Just that one instance, because then after that, all of the firing started happening. Theo left, and I was like, wow, there's a big domino effect, from the players to the staff. That's the first time I realized that.
Do you think it would have changed had you won? Do you think that all that
100%.
stuff would have happened? Yeah?
100%, Crack. Terry Francona would still be the manager today. I truly, truly do believe that. I think that Theo and John Henry had their issues in the office, and I think they were on their way out. But I think as far as Tito was there, and Tito, man, I don't know if you know him that well, but he's a phenomenal psychiatrist. I don't look at him as a head coach. I think he's a psychiatrist.
I agree. I only was with him in spring training in 2017, but just the interactions we've had since, isn't that what being a manager, or as you call it, a head coach, isn't that what it's about?
Yeah.
Like trying to dictate. But how did his contract affect you guys down that run? Because you guys were 20-6, I think, in August, and then 7-20 in September.
Yeah. Well, see, what happened was I think that we signed Carl Crawford, JD Drew, and what's the other guy? Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez.
Yep.
And none of them really panned out. They just, how it is, man. Either you can play in a big market or you can't. And none of those big signs really panned out. So I think that was kind of the writing on the wall. And, John Henry, man, now that I work for him again with Nesson, you even realize more that this dude is all about winning. And when I was doing Nesson stuff, people try to tell me that the ownership's not giving them the money this year for the Red Sox. That's why they're losing. And I call bullshit on all that, man. If you can't win with $220 million payroll, then you need to be fired. And so, that's what they did. But that's just the way John Henry runs his business, man. And I had no problems with it.
So they should be winning right now because they got a big payroll.
I agree. I said that. And, when they fired Bloom, I happened to be up there. And it's funny, too, man, because you walk from the hotel to the stadium to go to do this shit and do the Nets and stuff. And people are like, Pap, thank you. Please come to the front office and get some damn play. They just screaming at you. Thank you for getting Bloom fired. I'm like, I didn't do shit. I speak the truth. I tell you how it is. And, those guys can make that money. I don't think I'd ever want to be in the front office. Those are the hardest jobs ever, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a good front office person. Sorry.
No.
Your personality, you'd have a glass cage, and you just see, you'd be like slamming on the glass cage, like trying to be let out like an animal. What could they do different? What do you feel like the Red Sox need to do to get back to the prominence that the Red Sox are? Because really, ownership really didn't do a whole lot. They got Yoshida. They got, so you're saying they don't need to spend or they should spend and they should get Ohtani.
Okay, so here's my little synopsis on it. So you got overload in the outfield. You got some good players coming up. You got to make a trade for one of these guys in the outfield. As soon as let's say this Duran kid, everybody likes the Duran kid. Let's put him in center field, start off, and let's say he has the first good 2 months of the season. Well, if you have another guy that's behind him, this Mahia kid or whatever his name is, some minor league kid that's supposed to be good. If he comes up and he's good, then you have to trade him while the iron's hot. You know what I'm saying? And then not only on top of that, you've got to go get at least 2 more front-end rotation guys. To me, if this Bayo kid that they got now, if next year he comes out and he's like a number 3, then they're going to have a good team. But if you have the Bayo kid as a number 1, they're not going to be any good. You got Doogie coming up with his last deal. But at the end of the day, whether it's going to be your boy Sam Folds or your boy Mike Hazen, one of those 2 guys have got to come in and restructure the entire pitching staff. I mean, dude, this blows my fucking mind. I've never seen so many bullpen days. Like, if I'm in the bull, and Kinley, I talked to Kinley about this a lot. He's like, dude, they're killed. I don't know how I'm going to get a save this year because everybody in front of me is fucking killed. It doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Now, what you said John Henry cared about the team. Does John Henry still care about the team? Does he still care about winning a ring for Boston? No question.
And look, you go, and here's the thing is, too, not only him, but his wife, man. You go into Red Sox, you go into Fenway Park, Linda's name's all over the park. John's name's too. Everybody knows that. And shit, man, for me, those 2 people, they want to win more than anybody. And all this stuff about the ownership and the front office, they don't want to win, I think is all bullshit.
So we're going to take you back to when you did win a ring. Mm-hmm. We got all the bad stuff out of the way. Let's go to 2007. Okay? I'm going to take you. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but you're dancing on the field. And when I see that video, dancing on the field in your underwear, that, to me, what I always tell people when they like send this, your boy, look at your boy. I send back to them, if that's what he looked like on the field, what did it look like in his private time? What was that celebration like? What was that like? Only 4 years after getting drafted.
Yeah, well, I will say this. There was a few front office people that were like, hey, if you go out on the field, you got to put clothes on. So I did have to put clothes on. And unfortunately, they found some small-ass jersey or something. I don't know, man. But I think that was a big result of a lot of Jaeger, a lot of champagne, and 5 o'clock ate at like 5 o'clock, and Alex Cora was a big deal of this, and he was like, man, you got to be Cinco Ocho. This is back when they had Ocho Cinco, and he was 85 and I was 58, and so Alex Cora gave me the nickname Cinco Ocho, and I think that was probably the worst mistake of my life because that's when my alter ego happened, and that's when I just really took to it. But to me, man, if you don't have an alter ego and you step out on that field, you're not going to be successful. And you could say it in many ways. It doesn't have to be an alter ego, but you have to change. You cannot be. I can't be dad with 3 kids that's at home is the same guy I'm on the field. I'm going to lose every night. And those group of guys taught me that, man. And I will say this, man, with those teams, bro, our motto was we're going to come to your city, we're going to drink your beer, we're going to kick your ass. And, it was a different mantra. We came in with a different attitude. And I think at the end of the day, all of it just spilled out on the field. And I think they were like, yeah, we can't celebrate on the field anymore after that. But, man, that's just being young and dumb. And, I mean, God, we had fun though, man. Holy shit, we had some fun.
Do you think that team gets neglected? Do you feel like the 2007 team kind of gets like, 13 was the marathon, bombing, and then 18 they came back and they beat the Dodgers. Do you feel like 7 kind of gets like they're the redheaded stepchild World Series championship?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I could see that. I don't necessarily feel like that, but I think that yeah, like people would probably Red Sox fans would probably think that. But like for me, that 07 team would have whooped the 04 team ass, would have whooped the 13's ass, would have whooped the 18's ass. That team we had, Kratzy, I'm telling you, man, we were whooping ass drunk half the time.
Tell me about it.
Dude, we were whooping ass and we didn't even know we were whooping ass. Like we had so much talent on that team that my job, it felt easy. I mean, it really did. And I've been on teams where you don't have that much talent and you feel like you got to pick everybody up, right? Oh man, let me go do extra because I got to pick this guy up. It never works.
So you guys were just a wagon. You guys were just rolling downhill and everything. Like you said, you beat teams drunk. Like, were you out there like, oh man, when we go into Colorado, I just think of Colorado because that's where you guys won. Colorado in the middle of the season, like, this is going to be a blast and we're going to beat the snot out of the team. Or we love going to this.
No question. Man, look, I mean, for me, I had a way to get ready for the game every day. And that involved, coffee, uppers, and a couple shots of Jaeger every night. That is what put me like in that relaxed state. I could do now. I wasn't going out there, fucked up, but man, I went out there with a little edge, so to speak. And I mean, shit, players in the 80s, man, they did way more than that. But I mean, it just created that sense of man, whatever happens, man. I don't know how to really explain it, man. It's just like, it's like this. It's like when you're playing golf, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm out there playing golf, and like, hole 4 to like 7 after like 3 or 4 beers, man, you're really feeling good, man. You're freaking stroking that ball. But then, man, by like 18, you had too many beers, right? It's that that balance.
So you stay in that area, and you put that, and then they post game, they give you a post game interview, and you're like, you can't come down from that. Like people got, I think you got a bad rep from that, and I think people sat there and they were like, what's his problem? What's this guy's problem? But they don't understand how much you put into getting out there in those situations.
No question, man. My motto was work hard, play hard. Man, there were some young kids that we'd go out all night the night before, and then like they'd be sitting at their locker the next day, and I'd go snatch them up. Let's go get in the gym. What do you mean go get? Yeah, hey, listen to me, motherfucker. If you can't hoot with the Owls and soar with the Eagles, then you ain't on my team. That's how I was. And, a lot of young kids didn't understand that, hey, man, if you want to do this, you got to do this, and somehow I was able to do it. I don't know, man. I look back on it now. I'm like, how the hell did I do it? But
Legends Territory fam, we want to remind you all about our partnership with Shady Ray's premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. How you doing? And if you want to look as good as Erik Kratz, you can. And it is not going to cost you a boatload. It's a big reason why we've partnered up with them. And also, they take care of the people, Kratzy, because you're not the kind of guy that loses stuff too often, I'm going to imagine, right?
No, never.
But you break a thing or two. You're kind of big. You've got a little clumsiness to you, right?
Yes. I will take these off, and one of the arms will just snap off, and kind of makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I'm really strong, but also makes me feel good because I know the boys are going to take care of me and get me another pair.
That is very correct. It's the most insane protection in all of eyewear, every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even the first day that you get them, if you're clumsy like Kratz and you're like, damn it, and you're like, oh man, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So you can wear them and feel good about it and feel clumsy about it and not worry about it. So right now, the best deal of the season is available for you only if you are in the Foul Territory fam. They are giving out their best deal if you go to shadyrays.com and use the code FOUL, FOUL, for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Did it all start when you were in high school? Did you get this mentality in college?
No, man, I didn't play baseball until my sophomore year of college. Or actually, I didn't pitch. I played, but I was like outfield. And my sophomore year at Mississippi State, I was throwing a guy out at third. This son of a bitch tried to take 3 on me on a double down right field line. I went and got the ball and threw him out at third. I hit him in the helmet on a line from the right field corner and knocked him out, and he missed the season. And the pitching coach came up to me and he was like, "Hey, Pat, you ever pitch?" I was like, "Nah, I never really pitched." He's like, "What'd you come to school here for?" I said, "I came to school here to make it to the big leagues." He said, "Well, if you want to do that, we got to get you on the mound." I was like, "All right, whatever, coach." And next thing you know, I started pitching.
But then eventually you turned into a reliever. Do you ever think back to what your life would be like if you were a starter? And did anyone influence you to be a reliever?
Yeah. So I learned how to pitch as a reliever at Mississippi State when I started pitching, and I was a closer there. And this was when they first started kind of taking closers in the draft. And then I got drafted in the 4th round and get to minor league ball and Theo's first draft class, and he's like, "Yeah, you're going to be a starter." I was like, "Man, I never fucking started a game. What you mean I'm a starter?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to start you." So go out, I start and A-ball and dominate. And then I go to Double-A, I dominate there. Then Matt Clement gets hit in the head. I come up spot start for him for like 4 starts. Did very well. 2005 playoffs after they went over 4. We go to the White Sox, who ended up winning, pitch well in the bullpen. And then I'm like, man, I much rather pitch out of the bullpen. I like it. It's just kind of my charisma. It's like, I don't know if I'm ADD enough, but I couldn't sit on the bench. Kratz, could you imagine me sitting on the bench for 5 games in a row?
I
mean, it's just no.
It'd be terrible.
I would have drove people insane.
Yes, you definitely would have. But who changed it? Like because I can tell people that I batted 1,000 off of you. You were a starter in 2003, and I hit a double off of you in 2003 in a game that you started, and you were out by the 9th batter. I hit a double off you, and then in the big leagues, I was 1 for 1 off you, so I batted 1,000 off of you. But you were a starter. What changed it? Who influenced that?
So nobody, man. So we go into 06, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a starter. And they're like, all right, well, we're gonna go talk to Theo about this. I was talking to Terry Francona. He's like, we'll go talk to Theo. I was like, man, I don't need to talk to Theo. You're the coach, right? He's like, nah, Theo's dead set on you starting. I said, okay, well, let's talk to him. I said, Theo, man, I'm not a starter. Okay, we got enough starters here. We don't have enough people in the pen. And he's like, nah, Pat, pretty much you're going to start. I said, man, son of a bitch. I said, okay, well, all right, how about this? Just make me one deal. And I knew this before I said it. I knew what I was saying before I said it. Because I knew we didn't have – Tim Moon was getting old. Del Carmen wasn't it. And we had a few other guys. Schneider, who's now the coach, head pitching coach at Tampa. And so I go to him and I say, all right, Theo, all right, Tito. We're sitting in the office. I said, I'll tell you what. If we go through this whole spring training and there is you have no one designated as your closer until the last 2 weeks of the season, I get to be closer. And they were like, okay, all right, that's fine. Thinking that they could come up with a closer. Well, dude, 2 weeks into the season, we have nobody. And I knew this. And so I went in the office and I said, all right, so you guys still want me to be a starter? They're like, nah, Pap, you got the closing job. You're going to close for us this year. And, sure enough, it ended up working out. And, unfortunately, I came in second place after Verlander getting hurt that year for the Rookie of the Year. But it was the way I learned to pitch, man. It was what I liked doing. I wanted to try to influence every fucking game I could. And as a starter, that was like, 30 games a year if you stay healthy? Nowadays, it's like, 130, 50 innings? Like, bro, like that's not influencing a whole lot, I don't know. And I just wanted to close. I loved it. There was nothing better than coming out of that bullpen, shipping up to Boston and shit, man. That to me is, man, you can't. If you can reproduce that and put it in a syringe, I'd stick it in my ass every day, man. That feeling was fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, but you didn't always ship out to Boston. You came out to let the bodies hit the floor, and that hit hard.
Yeah.
In 06, that hit hard. When they started whispering, let the bodies hit the floor. Like that was, and then you timed it. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But all right, tell me about what Boss did with the 2007 ball.
Yeah, my dog, his name was Boss.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he was a three-legged French bulldog. We had to cut his arm off after I was horse playing with him. But yeah, man, somehow, some way, I just left the ball on the counter, man, and he just destroyed it. I don't really know what else to say about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on that one. Oh, the destroyed ball? No, I had to throw it away. Man. You know what I mean? I don't. The Hall of Fame was after me for it, and I didn't know what to do. And just the trash guys got it now. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You literally threw it in the garbage?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Dang it. We'll never
see it again. That's it.
We'll never see it again. Maybe there might be a little bit of remnants of it left in my trophy room, or AKA casino.
Yeah, if everything goes to shit, your portfolio, everything else, it could reemerge. But probably.
You know what? It might be the last thing I give away when I die. Oh wait, never mind. I don't have it. I forgot.
Yeah, you don't have it. Right.
Well, Kratzy, I got a question for you, man. How come you never came back to Cinco Ocho Casino in the back to play no cards with us, man? I need. You got a base hit off of me, man. I need to get some of that pocketbook of yours, man.
Shoot, when we played together, I was making chump change. There ain't no way I was going back there. You guys would bluff with more than I was making in a month. There was no chance. I was coming back with Chase, Cinco Ocho, Cliff, and Jimmy. Like those dudes were just. It was business class all day there, like racks. They look like a rack.
Jimmy Rollins was he was straight dead money though, man. I used to tell Jimmy, you know what my favorite nation is? Donation, baby.
Well, Kratz, you won a poker tournament recently, so I don't think they want that smoke.
No, I still can't hang with. Yeah, but I won the tournament, but man, you can't hang with Papelbon. He's not scared. Like he hasn't blinked this entire interview. He tried to bet me in spring training, a dude I had played with before and he had played against, Frazier. Remember Frazier, the closer?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, oh yeah, like he went up to Canada. He's like, and he found his wife. He found his wife and she's Canadian. And he's like, you go, she's not Canadian. I was like, what? This was one of my first interactions with Pap. I said, no, she's from Canada. Like they live in Chicago now, but she's from Canada. He goes, I bet you $500 she's not Canadian. And I sat there and I was like, $500? I was like, I would take $500, but now I'm questioning. He bullied me out of one of my friend's wives' origin, and he's like, dude, I've never met her before. I just wanted to see if you wanted to gamble or not. I was like, no.
Oh, man. All right, so I have one more based on what Kratz said a while back. Post-game interview, you're lit, but you're talking for real, which we respect a ton with what we're doing every day with our shows. If you're a commissioner for a day, what do you do? And do you feel like baseball is falling behind in some way? Like, are dudes too trained to be boring? Is it the sport's fault? Because obviously football's in its own world, but basketball has definitely got more cultural relevance. So what would you do?
You know what? I'm probably going to give you an answer that you probably didn't think I would say, but for me, I am I never got mad when a dude celebrated a home run off of me. Like, never. Like, bro, because if I got you, boy, I was gonna fist pump the shit out of you. Like, that's just how it was, man. And like, to me, that never bothered me. So the bat flips and all this, I say keep them in the game. The stolen bases I really like. Now, do I think it's a disadvantage for the pitchers? Of course it is. But at the same time, now that I'm doing, media stuff with Nesson, and I did this one time just to see. So I go out in the studio. It's in center field at Fenway, and I go and I'm like, I'm betting again. I'm gambling. I bet the Jim Rice, right? I said, Jimmy, Hall of Famer. I said, how many people you think know the score of this game? I'm gonna go ask 10 people. 2 people knew the score of the game. So you have to incorporate things for fan interaction, and I love the game of baseball is an awesome game, but you have to create it and make it interesting. I think it hit a standstill for a while, but man, like, dude, bring the DJs into the stadiums, bro. Like, let's get it crunk. Like, I'm all for it, man. I think that's entertainment. Let's steal some more bases. Go suck for the pitchers for a little while, but hey, let's incorporate this into the game. I have no qualms with it. I really don't.
I know what you'd like based on some of this conversation. The increased betting for some people that might not give a shit about a West Coast game with 2 teams they don't care about, but dude's bored after a hard day at work, and he's suddenly watching Angels Tigers in September when neither team matters, and it's the 7th inning, and he is like, one more run and I hit the over and I win $1,000.
Yep. So, like, to me, betting, DJs at the park now, the whole lights, closers come in the game now. It's not just music, man. They shut the lights down. It's crazy. I think baseball needs that, man. I think baseball needs stolen bases and aggression. Dude, people in Philly, Boston, LA, they want to see hardcore guys go out and play baseball. There's no question about it. But I enjoy it, man. Like, it'll be really cool, like, instead of like the 50-50 drawings, like, if like you could just like bet guys next to you, but which they'll probably get to that with FanDuel soon. But man, like, it's a new game, I feel like, but it's a new good game. I really do truly feel that way.
They got to put greenies back in is the one thing you should do as a commissioner.
That's not happening. Yeah, well, I would if I was commissioner, but look, man, at the end of the day, everybody's going to have a TUE. Everybody's going to – the game's not going to change, man. When you play 162 games and you're trying to go out there and dominate, like, yeah, you got to do it healthily, and maybe I didn't do it healthily my whole career, but at the same time, man, like, you got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say, oh, man, let's just take it out,
Yeah, I mean, he seems pretty healthy to me, Kratz, so I think it works.
Looks tremendous. That hair is – I mean, you're putting color in that hair because you're about to turn 43, so –
I still got good flow, Kratz,
You got great flow, but that ain't natural color. Don't lie to us. You're being honest.
I started using, yeah.
Well, dude, you're a gem. This was awesome. Appreciate you. Thanks to the Players Alumni Association, too, for helping to set this up. The great Jonathan Papelbon with all the accolades. And if you want more info on your favorite former players, baseballalumni.com. Pap, thanks, man. That was fun.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.